What happens when you finally let go? Most people will spend their entire life chasing success, chasing relationships, chasing recognitions, chasing certainty. They will even go as far as holding tighter, controlling harder, and planning obsessively. And yet, the moment everything begins to shift is the moment you have forced to let go. Not when you achieve more, not when you prove yourself, but when something falls apart. A relationship ends, a plan collapses, a dream dissolves, or maybe even an identity cracks. And you begin to ask the right questions. Why is the universe taking this from me? But what if it's not taken? What if the universe is actually freeing you from those things you're refusing to let go? Let's talk about letting go. This is Life Wisdom with Dr. T, a place where healing meets growth and becoming begins. In wisdom, suffering does not come from loss. Suffering comes from attachment. We don't suffer because something changes. We suffer because we demand it stays the same. Human beings do not often welcome change. Change is something which many people resist. And so what happens? We grip tightly to the things that we know. We grip tightly to outcomes. We grip tightly to people. We grip tightly to titles and even to timelines. We grip tightly to the version of ourselves that we know. And when life shifts, as it always does and will always do, because life is progressive. In life, things are meant to change. Just like a baby who is born changes every day, our lives too are meant to change every day. And the tighter we hold, the more it hurts. We have to learn to let go. Letting go is not weakness. It is simply alignment with reality. Everything changes. Everything passes. Clinging is what exhausts you and I. Let's learn to let go of things that no longer serve us. Why is the universe forcing you and I to let go? There are some moments in our lives when life gently nudges you. And there are moments when it pushes you. A door may close unexpectedly. An opportunity that you have been vying for may just disappear. A path you carefully built suddenly dissolves despite all the efforts you have put in building that. You think it's punishment? No, it's not punishment. More often, it is protection. Sometimes the universe removes what you won't release because you've confused attachment with identity. And we tend to hold on to things that no longer serve us for too long. I know I've done that. And because of that, the universe will come in to push those things out of your way for your own protection. Do not resist. This is simply because you've confused attachment to your identity. You think, if I lose this, I lose myself. Not always. But you are not your job. You are not your relationship. You are not your 5-year plan. When those collapse, what remains is you, raw and real. And that's where awakening begins. This allows you to think about the next steps. This allows you to do an inner reflection of what's next because you have learned to let go. The breaking point arises when most people wait a lifetime or would waste a lifetime chasing goals. They build their entire lives around achievements, and then one day they get the job and still feel empty. They reach the milestone and still feel anxious. They may even win the validation they've been seeking for a long time and still feel nothing. Or worse still, they lose it and may even break. Because their identity was never anchored internally. It was built around possessions. But possessions is temporary. Letting go is terrifying because it feels like falling. Actually falling into a deep pit. But sometimes falling is how you land in alignment with yourself. When we fall, it helps us to reflect on what went wrong. It helps us to reflect on the things that are lacking around us. It helps us to reflect on the choices that we made that may have led us to the fall. Then comes the quiet power of surrender. Surrender is often misunderstood. Most of the time, surrendering is not giving up. Even though most people think when you surrender, you have given up. It's not giving up. It is simply you releasing resistance. It is you saying, I trust what it means for me and will not require me to force it. It is simply you recognizing that control is simply an illusion. You can control effort. You cannot control outcomes. When you finally loosen your grip, something surprising happens. Space opens. Clarity returns. Energy shifts because you're no longer fighting reality. You're simply allowing the universe to come in and place you where you're supposed to be. And at that point, the flow of the state of letting go begins. Think about water. Water does not force its path. It adapts, it flows, it moves around obstacles. And yet, over time, it shapes mountains. Letting go is becoming like water. When you stop gripping one rigid path, new possibilities emerge. New connections appear. New insights surface. New directions even unfold. Not because you force them, but simply because you made space for them. This is your awakening. If something is falling apart in your life right now, my dear students, my dear friends, if something is falling apart in your life right now, pause. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Like we usually do. It's often the main question many of us will ask. Why me? Why is this happening to me? I invite you to instead ask the following questions. What is this freeing me from? What if this loss is clearing illusions in my life? What if this loss is revealing a misalignment in my life? What if this plan is initiated by the Most High? It's above my control. Awakening does not begin in comfort. It always begins in very uncomfortable situations. It begins when attachment cracks. When you realize nothing external can permanently secure you. Only inner alignment can. At that point, you accept you must let go. You cannot carry everything into your next chapter. Not the old identity, not the outdated dreams, not the relationships that shrink you, not the timelines that suffocate you. You must let go. Not because you failed, but because you are evolving. Growth always demands release. Trees shed their leaves. Snakes shed their skin. The ego must shed its illusions. And every shredding feels like loss until you realize it was preparation. I've been through it. I had to let go of so many things I thought were very important in my life. But one thing I noticed once I let go of those things, I felt fulfillment. I felt energized. I was able to rethink my future, and begin the journey of making things happen for myself. When everything falls into place, you stop forcing things to align. When you stop chasing, opportunities approach. When you stop clinging, peace enters your heart. Because desperation repels, alignment attracts. When you let go, you stop operating from fear and start operating from trust. And that is magnetic. Maybe the universe is not breaking you, my dear friends. Maybe the universe is not breaking you. Maybe it's breaking your attachment. Maybe this moment in your life, this uncomfortable moment in your life, uncertain, painful space, is not destruction. It may simply be your awakening. The universe is simply trying to remind you to go back in alignment with yourself. You may have chosen certain things that no longer align with who you were meant to be. Letting go is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your freedom. Release what no longer aligns with you. Stop gripping what's already sleeping. Trust the unfolding. Because when you finally let go, my dear people, when you finally let go, everything that is truly meant for you will find its way back to you. I hope you enjoyed this reflection. If you did, please make sure to comment below and come back for more.